I have is spasmodic dysphonia. And if people are familiar with RFK Jr., he has the same vocal condition. And this population, my heart really goes out to people because I'm at a point where I don't care so much about how I sound. I mean, I do, but I don't. It's not going to stop me. And so this is brand new Messy Middle. I want to put a program together specifically for people with spasmodic dysphonia because we know how healing the arts are. There's research on it that simply looking at art can reduce your stress. Participating in art activities for 45 minutes can just help calm the nerves, and people with spasmodic dysphonia are the kind of people that are always on high alert. And our voice, our body is just trying to protect us and keep us safe. And at some point, we were taught like speaking isn't safe. So art is such a great way to connect where words sometimes just aren't there, literally and metaphorically.
I'm Cydnie Jocelyn. This is She Rises Through It Season 2. Okay, real talk. A year ago, I was white-knuckling through life, showing up for everyone, completely disappearing from myself. My boys, they were in and out of the hospitals. I was in a job that was slowly shrinking me, performing strength that I absolutely did not have, and still trying to act like none of it was happening. Then I went to Costa Rica, alone, knowing nobody, and something broke open in me. I came home, resigned, walked away from rooms that required me to be less. I chose my family, my faith, and the version of me that had been trying to surface for years. And I built. In the middle of the mess, in the middle of absolutely not having it figured out. That's what this season is. Deeper, bolder, more honest, real conversations about identity, faith, motherhood, and what it actually looks like to stop performing strength you don't have and start living in the power you've already earned. I'm not a medical or mental health professional. Everything here is a lived experience, my lived experience. Please get support if you need it. Asking for help is one of the bravest things you can do. If you're in the messy middle right now, you're exactly where you need to be. Let's go. Well, welcome, Clarissa. This is our first time meeting ever.
Yes.
How does that feel?
It feels great. I feel like I kind of know you a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we've messaged each other, and I love your podcast and what you're doing.
Thank you.
Especially, nowadays, I think people are sick of polished and perfect, and it doesn't feel real. So I love, everything that you're doing to keep it real.
Thank you. I think I hid myself for so long in my life that I've gotten to the point, and even my last episode, one of my girlfriends was like, it was really good. It was blunt. And I was like, is that good?
Yes, I think it is.
Yeah. And she was like, no, it was really real. It was really raw. It was honest. It was your pure messy middle. She's like, I could hear you tearing up in it. And I'm like, wow. I guess I never thought that because I did that in the beginning when I started my podcast. And then I went scripted a little bit, and now I'm kind of shifting back because I lost that authenticity and just trying to show up for everyone else.
I loved your last episode that I heard because you were just going to Costa Rica, and that's where I got married.
Yes, you got married there.
And so, yes. And so that has a special place in my heart. And what resonated with me with your last episode was about, you had mentioned you and your husband talking about your path. And I could relate to that too, because I'm a dreamer. I like to do different things, and he's more practical. And so we can butt heads. And I think in the end, we get to shine in a way that's authentic to us. So that part really resonated a lot with me.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. I will definitely say having his support has been insane and being able to figure out that path, but he's coming around and it takes time. So I want to dig deeper into you and your messy middle and your life and your journey. When I was reflecting back on like your first message that you sent me and kind of just preparing and then looking at your website, I didn't realize this and I apologize. I didn't realize like you were very artistic. You really help other individuals like bring their creativity out. And I love that. And I just want you to kind of just start sharing more about your story, who you are, what you're doing, because that hit home to me that you're already doing it and you've been doing it.
Thanks so much, Cydnie. Well, my journey of many, many messy middles. So, I've been an artist my whole life. It's been a through line for me. However, I grew up in a household with two parents that are doctors, medical physicians. So there really was no artist example. I just gravitated to it, but my parents, in, their wisdom, protecting me, said, "You can't be an artist. You'll be rich and famous after you pass away." And I was like a little kid when I heard that. So that devastated me and impacted me for a really long time. But fast forward, I'm in my 50s now. So that's a story I get to let go and embrace my artistic path. So it had been like ebbs and flows with artistry, and where I'm in my messy middle with that is helping people who are going through traumatic times to tap into that soft creative space just to process. And I'm not an art therapist, but I'm an art therapy practitioner. So it really isn't about me trying to help people identify so much, but more as to just take a pause and let's see what the art can bring up. So I live in Altadena, California, and we had a huge fire last year. My whole town was devastated. So I started doing some meditative art sessions here and there, and I'm continuing to do that. And as you can hear in my voice, I kind of sound like I have laryngitis. But what I have is spasmodic dysphonia. And if people are familiar with RFK Jr., he has the same vocal condition. And this population, my heart really goes out to people because I'm at a point where I don't care so much about how I sound. I mean, I do, but I don't. It's not going to stop me. And so this is brand new messy middle. I want to put a program together specifically for people with spasmodic dysphonia because we know how healing the arts are. There's research on it that simply looking at art can reduce your stress. Participating in art activities for 45 minutes can just help calm the nerves, and people with spasmodic dysphonia are the kind of people that are always on high alert. And our voice, our body is just trying to protect us and keep us safe. And at some point we were taught like speaking isn't safe. So art is such a great way to connect where words sometimes just aren't there, literally and metaphorically. So that's kind of my path right now.
Okay, I have to tell you something, and I need you to actually hear me. We rose and regrounded in Costa Rica, and now we're taking it to another level. We're going to Crete, Greece. I'm talking ancient villages, the Aegean Sea, olive groves as far as you can see, food that will ruin you for your regular Tuesday nights, and 8 days of movement, workshops, and cultural experiences that will wake something up in you that has been asleep for way too long. This is Rise into Her, the Greece edition. And right now, yes, you are the only ones who know about it. The link is live in the show notes. It is not public yet. My listeners and the collective get first access. So what if August 2027 was the trip that shifted everything? The one you looked back on and said, that's when everything changed. Save your spot today for just $500. 6 and 12-month payment plans are available. We made it flexible, intentionally, and on purpose. So if your heart just jumped a little, that's your answer. Link is in the show notes. I cannot wait to see you and welcome you in Crete. Okay, let's get into today's episode.
I honestly love that there were a couple moments there that I wanted to tear up. I'm also in a very emotional period right now.
Sure.
Where everything makes me want to cry. But you were talking about the arts and your parents, and for me, I grew up loving art. That is something that is, I'm sitting in my craft room right now. This is my entire closet is filled with stuff. It's my safe space, and it just, it breaks my heart that when we're children, we're being told you can't do that, and you never truly realize how much it could actually help us. And how does it bring us home to ourselves? Because when I am crafting, when I am painting, when I am drawing, I lose myself in the moment. I haven't done it in a long time. And because we have 2 kids, we have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. So my last couple
You're
years.
kind of busy.
Busy. But my husband really mentioned that to me, that I've always felt happy and in my zone when I'm creating. And I think that comes also too with everything I'm building and showing the messy middle and creating retreats, that seeing it all come together in the end is such a beautiful journey. And however that art kind of shapes, it truly can help our nervous system and our soul. And I know you mentioned your rare vocal disorder. Here's the thing, I see such a beautiful woman in front of me that is willing to put her neck out there to show everybody it's okay to show up even though I have this. And that made me want to tear up too, because that was one of the first things you mentioned in your message to me. And it takes a lot of guts to open that up before ever meeting someone. And I just want to give you so much credit to that.
Oh, thank you so much, Cydnie.
Yes.
And I had to do it because here's the thing. When I first I'll share the story of how this kind of showed up, and it's kind of, I can laugh at it now. So I use my voice for my career. Facilitator, coach, training and development. That's what I did in the corporate space. And then I transitioned to work for myself in 2021, mid-2021. Started off pretty strong. Didn't know what I didn't know as an entrepreneur. So I just put myself out there and just, did my thing. And fast forward to 2023, I just felt this doesn't feel like it's in alignment anymore. And to your point, what you say all the time is you're going to pivot. If you're starting a business, you are going to pivot. You're going to pivot. And for me, I just felt oh shoot, I just started. I'm pivoting already. And I felt a lot of shame around that. And I worked myself up in my head. Who am I supposed to help? What am I doing? I don't know what the F is going on anymore.
Right.
So I had all that pressure built up. And a dear friend of mine was putting on an event, March 2023, Women's Month, and the event was called Celebrating Our Voices. And here I am speaking, and before I had met up with a friend who was going to come with me to the event. And I said, June, I don't know what's going on with my voice. All of a sudden, I feel like I have laryngitis.
Oh.
And I've spoken like many, many, many times. It wasn't like nerves that I was feeling, but I was like, what is going on here? And so when I had to speak, thank God I had a microphone, because Cydnie, all I could do was whisper. I had to talk like this the whole time.
Oh.
I could not project at all. And after that event, I was like, this is bad. Didn't do anything for a whole month, and finally went to the doctor, and that's when I was diagnosed with spasmodic dysphonia. And I hid for the rest of 2023.
Oh.
And I have a podcast called Painting Your Path, and I would record. So I kind of cheated. I used old, interviews that I had done with other people, still relevant for my audience, but I just couldn't talk.
Right.
So all I had to do was the intro. But that was so hard, and I kept just re-recording. So my point in sharing all this is that I was not upfront about what I had. I just had so much shame, so much feeling like a failure, feeling like I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I hid for a while.
I'm glad you're not hiding anymore, because I know that feeling. I know that feeling, like that feeling of hiding, that feeling like you're not good enough, like you can't do it. Why are you doing it? How is anybody going to resonate, or how are they going to understand? That feeling is so real, and it sucks because it drags you down. And then that mental game is 10 times harder. And I don't know how you did it, because one, you're doing it. You showed up real, raw, authentic to me, putting yourself out there, not even knowing who I was, but being like, yes, I want to be on your podcast. And you worked through it. However, I know you mentioned like you battled with depression for a long time. Like, how did you get yourself out of all of that?
Well, I went back to my art. So for me, art is my ultimate self-care practice tool. So I thought, okay, I can't talk right now. Let me just paint. So that helped soothe my nervous system. And then I started teaching a particular method that I was doing to help myself. And in 2024, I just said, okay, how long can I hide? I need to earn some money, because I just completely stopped in 2023. And I thought, well, the bills aren't going to pay themselves. So my husband, of course, he's doing his part. But I also didn't want to just sit at home and do nothing. And I'm a mission-driven person, so I thought, I gotta do something. So I continued back on my path in a different niche, helping people connect back to their creative side. And I actually wrote about it and was part of a book called Radical Freedom. And in that book, I wrote a chapter to share about working through spasmodic dysphonia.
Oh my goodness. How did it feel like actually having to write about it and put it down into words?
It felt at that time therapeutic, because by the time the book was published, it was August of 2024. And our book, because there were 100 other authors in this book. And to me, radical freedom truly is being able to express yourself. And it just felt cathartic to put it out there and help people who might be having the same thing I do, or just having a blocked throat chakra. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
all the time.
it all relates. It all relates. And it just felt good. And that book became an international bestseller on Amazon. So that was something to be proud of, also in multiple categories. So
Absolutely.
yay, my story's getting out there.
Has like other individuals reached out to you and thanked you for opening up about your story and what you're going through?
Yes, I've gotten several reviews in that book, which feels good, of course, but it's not about me. It's really about helping people speak their truth. And no matter what you sound like, you have a message. You're important. You matter. So that is my biggest takeaway for people.
I think that's amazing because, like I kind of briefly mentioned, for the longest time, I felt like I didn't have that voice. And I know I've mentioned it into previous episodes that I'd walk into like a business meeting and just not fully be there and share my experience or share what I thought. Like I would just wait for the guidance that leadership wanted versus actually speaking up and honoring my voice, because I think it kind of works in the same aspect. Working through what you're working through, but also actually being able to share your voice in a way that can really show others that it's okay to live what you're living, but you don't have to hide it. You don't have to hide yourself. You don't have to shrink yourself to somebody else's standards or feel shame of yourself for whatever you're going through, because we're all going to go through life things.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. And for me, like this showed up, it definitely showed up in my early career where I didn't feel like I could speak. So that trauma has probably, filtered through to what has happened. And even though my last career was my dream career, I felt really strong about it. But all these little traumas that we may process, but there's layers to it. I think, at least for me, is the continued work.
I think the continued work is huge and massive. And I'm starting out and really opening up and branching out and showing my messy middle. And there are days when I show up on this podcast and I'm like, why did I just say that?
And also, I got accepted, so this is good news. So, for spasmodic dysphonia, the treatment is Botox.
Oh,
so
okay.
The doctor has to inject your vocal cords with Botox. And no shame to people who do it.
Right.
We have to do what is right for us.
Right, absolutely.
For me, it's not right. I've heard too many horror stories of people swallowing the Botox because the doctors miss their vocal cords. They're human. So, and again, I'm not going into blame or anything like that.
Right.
But for me, it just was not the solution. So I recently got accepted into this kind of beta test 6-month coaching group where I'm assigned two coaches. One is dealing with the mindset, the trauma, the spiritual stuff that I get to continue to work through. And the other coach is a breathwork, somatic, and voice coach. Because the tricky thing about this condition is, even though I truly, yes, I have stress in my life, who doesn't? But it's not nearly as crazy as it was when this first presented itself. The voice coach is going to help me because there's a part of my brain that I have to rewire to learn how to breathe talk again, because that has been kind of messed up.
Yeah.
And my vagus nerve has just kind of put the kibosh on speaking. So that's the tougher part for me, at least right now. But in my art, so all those things, that's how I'm working through it. And I think, in life, I know you talk about this too. It's about becoming and not ever finally arriving. So that's the space that I feel like I'm in right now.
You know the next version of you exists. You can feel her. You just can't quite get to her from where you're standing right now. That's exactly why I build these retreats. They're not a vacation. They're an environment specifically designed to get you out of your own way. Join an upcoming retreat or build something custom for your team, your company, or your people. Head to cydniejocelyn.com or find everything in the show notes.
I love that it brought you back to your art. I'm super excited for you to be able to go through this beta, because you were talking about, the mindset and the somatic and breath work. So I'm somatic certified because it helps me. And I just led a somatic class on retreat. But also, too, when you were talking about mindset and like rewiring your brain and the vagus nerve, our past trauma creeps up on us. And how do we work through that? Like, that's part of why I mentioned in the beginning I'm a little emotional.
It's all good.
Because I'm in the middle of EMDR myself, so working on that trauma.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Too.
So working through that and rewiring your brain and trying not to feel like you're not enough. And it breaks my heart that, and I mean this in the best way possible, and I know when people say that, everyone's like, oh, you should have never said that. But I'm not one to hide. It breaks my heart that trauma happens to us and then it affects our bodies in certain ways that really can mess with our way of living and how we show up and what we do. However, I'm incredibly grateful that it did bring you back to your art. And
yes. And I think in an even more major way than it ever has in my life so far. And I like to do summits. I like to do events like that where I collaborate with a lot of different people. And last year I hosted a summit called Creative Care. It was all about social prescribing. And if you're not familiar with social prescribing, it's basically, there are all these things that are so good for us mentally, physically, emotionally. Things like art, nature, movement, volunteering, and I forget the fifth one. But so I did a summit highlighting all these different ways that people can help, heal themselves or at least get on that healing journey. And art is a huge piece in that. And there are more arts and health books coming out. So this condition really has helped me to set me on a path that I think I had always wanted to do, but was too afraid to do it. Arts and wellness. So here we are, and I think, the divine works in mysterious ways.
Very mysterious ways.
Right? I feel like truly this is a huge push for me. I think the nudges, I didn't see them, but with this condition, with what I'm learning about arts and health, I feel like that's my next chapter, is to really dive deeper into that.
I think that's going to change a lot of people's lives, though, because you mentioned that you had your career, your dream career. And was that actually your dream career, or was it the stepping stone to showcase what you truly were meant to do and how you were supposed to bring it full circle and help others bring it out as well? That's kind of what I see.
Yeah. And I think we don't know until we can look back.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was definitely a stepping stone and a vision I had for myself. And it's like, okay, that chapter is done. Time to, move on to the next thing.
Time to pivot.
Time to pivot. Time to pivot.
And it's so
that's
weird.
Right.
It's so weird to think like that you can pivot. I was talking with a girlfriend earlier this morning and then speaking with you now. And, on my last podcast, I did talk about that I pivoted a lot this first year.
Yes.
But hearing, the career changes, like a different path showing, like that's a pivot too. It can come at any point in our lives. And we may not know why, but it's there. And we're allowed to not feel that shame, that upset. It's like, okay, let's roll with it and see what happens. So
yes,
I love that about your story. More. Yeah. I love that about your story. And I love that you took something that, was a complete shakeup in your life and you're doing something amazing with it. You're showcasing your voice. Yes, of course. And who cares if you cheated in your podcast? All of it.
Yeah. I had to do what I had to do.
And you showed up. I was looking at your podcast today and I was like, man, she has a lot of reviews. How do I get reviews? And I was like, she's been doing it longer than I. That's why. Oh my goodness.
Yep. You will get there. You will get there. Yeah. It just has been a journey. Yeah.
On the fun side of everything, though, what is your favorite form of art? Like, what do you love doing?
My gosh. I love watercolor.
Okay.
And I hadn't done it for a while because I had got into acrylic painting. But with this voice thing, I just thought I want to go back to something more fluid. I was crying a lot, and there was just something about watercolors that I felt connected to. So right now, that's my favorite.
I love that. And does it give you like a certain feeling or emotion when you're doing it, or is it just like a complete calm, like I'm in my zen?
Yes, it's kind of like that. I'm in a flow state. And I'll also share this. There are days where I'm feeling upset about this, right? It can be frustrating. And I feel like women especially are told to behave a certain way. Don't get angry. Don't be this. Don't be that. And I think that suppresses our voice too. So more recently, I started having more rageful moments on the paper with different colored pencils and different markers. So that art looks very different, but it's still cathartic and still helps me process. So whether I'm calm or whether I'm angry, it's all good to get it out.
It is. It's like music for me. So music feeds my soul. Like if I'm angry, I have to listen to an angry song and just scream at the top of my lungs. Part of my somatic class that I did in Costa Rica was about feeling songs and the emotions and processing through. We did grief, anger, and love. And in the grief one, just the amount of tears that flowed through, and in the anger, The anger,
Yes.
I think everyone was watching me more, but then I started like coming at them a little bit with my anger because I was like, if I'm doing it, we're doing it together. Like, let's do this. And just the emotions that can flow from music for me, I can just picture that when you're drawing and you're sitting there and whatever is coming out. And I love that because self-care comes in so many different shapes and forms. It doesn't have to be going to a spa or getting your nails done or your hair done. It can be reading a good book. It can be listening to the music that helps you process emotions. It could be any type of watercolor or acrylics, or, I mean, I'm more of like pencil and just drawing. It could be any of that.
So,
I love that you found that and then you're
whatever
bringing
you
that
feel
out.
called.
Right.
Yes. Thank you.
Of course. I honestly, everything in my head's right now saying, why wasn't she on retreat with us? She could be showing so much creative art.
Yeah, maybe in the future.
In the future, yes.
Yeah.
Because as women, we do lose ourselves. We don't show up in the way we're supposed to because we follow the status quo or what everybody's told us we needed to be. And I do think we hit that level and stage in our life where I know everyone says it's a midlife crisis, but I'm 32. I don't think I'm in a midlife crisis yet. But I think when something shakes up your nervous system, like you start reevaluating, you start showing up differently, you start figuring out your self-care differently.
Okay, you know you've been playing small. You feel it every time you show up online. Every time someone asks what you do, and your answer doesn't even sound like you anymore. The truth, your brand just hasn't caught up to who you actually are. That is the work I do. We find the truth beneath your brand and build something that finally reflects you. It is time to stop shrinking. Book the call at cydniejocelyn.com. Link is in the show notes.
Yeah, I could go on a tangent on this, just a heads up.
It's all good. And, you know, from your 20s to 30s, that's at least for me and most people I know, that's a big shift. So it makes sense.
Yeah, I had a massive shakeup. I mean, just with my children and figuring things out and realizing not to be in the status quo and follow what I thought everybody wanted me to be and follow who I am. And we've talked about your voice, and there was a major part that I got angry / sad because I was told as a child, you talk too much. And my dad specifically had a song for me, and he'd be like, go listen to that song. You're talking too much right now. And it caused a lot of trauma for me. And I think that's where part of this podcast shows up too, is I want to show up in the messy middle. I want to show my voice. I want to show every individual out there that it's okay to go through something, but don't shut yourself down on it. And be true to who you are.
Yeah. I think, and I had the opposite as a child. Right. I was the quiet, well-behaved, didn't say anything, and got praised for that. And I think there's a shadow side for everything. So what it cost me was self-expression and having to look to see how I should behave. So, like when you were talking, I was thinking, good for you for being a little girl and speaking your mind.
Oh, thank you.
It's something I didn't feel like I could do, so I didn't.
Oh my goodness. It's so interesting hearing other stories and how we were brought up, because you just saying that, I'm working on taking compliments, working on it. It's just this feeling of, where were you when I was a kid and why couldn't I have heard that? But again, in hindsight, when we look at things, there was a reason all of our past has happened to bring us to where we are now. And the divine figures it out, so.
Yes. Yeah. And I love the path that I'm on. it's still shaky, yeah, but it feels like it's in so much more alignment with who I am. And when it gets tough, sometimes I think, should I go back to a part-time job or a job? And I'm like, what? Stop. No, don't do it.
That's imposter syndrome. That's imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not, but being real, the thought has come in, but I just feel like, this is the path. This is the path I'm meant to be on.
That's amazing, because it is a beautiful path you're on. And I just see that talking with you, the first real time we're sitting here talking and connecting versus like our Facebook messages or emails. It's refreshing to see, one, that I'm not the only one that ever thinks, oh, should I go backwards? My friend literally sent me an imposter syndrome podcast the other day. But then two, finding that peace and love in what you're doing and knowing that you're on the right path. Like, it takes time to find that, and you found it. And I think that's super inspiring to other individuals and other women out there, because a lot of us, I'm taking May off myself just to reevaluate and really realign, because my first year I pivoted. And I winged it. And I'm like, okay, where am I fully aligned? And a retreat taught me that big time. I don't know if you're religious, but I have been digging deeper into my faith. Got baptized in October, but been figuring out like what's one of my God-given gifts, and that's hospitality. That's creating this space. It was creating the retreat space. And it's just beautiful.
I love that.
Well, thank you. And it's just beautiful to see that other women are doing it, You're finding your peace, and now I'm realigning and I'm finding my peace. And there's just something so magical and special about that.
Yes. And this you didn't know about me, but I also have done retreats for women, but just like single half-day retreats. But I do want to do longer retreats. So when I heard you went to Costa Rica, I thought, ooh, I gotta ask Cydnie about that, because eventually I think that's something that I want to do with my art.
I definitely think there's something there. So, funny thing, this entire time recording, my internet thing keeps popping up saying, you have weak connection, you have weak connection. And I kept just praying and saying, God, keep this episode going, because this entire episode and speaking with you and knowing about your art and knowing that, you're going through life things, but you're persevering and you're going through that. There was a reason we're connected. And art, if you ask my mom, I actually asked her this like a month ago. I asked her what was like my favorite thing to do in school and come back. She said, you never came home complaining about art class. Like, you thrived. And seeing me building these spaces and talking with you, I'm like, yes, you're building. If you want to build it on your own or build it with me, you're building a retreat, and it's happening, because it's
I got chills.
Be amazing. Oh,
yes. I got chills. So, yeah.
It's going to happen, and I know it. And I'm thankful my podcast episode, because sometimes I have technology issues, is actually operating. And I'm glad we're showing the real, raw, messy middle of it, and just two people meeting each other for the first time, because that's what makes this. That's what makes this so unique, so true. And yeah, I'm loving it. So
I've enjoyed it so much.
Oh, thank you. So I kind of just want to bring this all together now, and with other individuals listening, women listening, like, what do you want them to walk away from based on our conversation today?
Yeah. I want them to walk away with asking themselves, what's that thing that has been whispering or shouting at you, to you, begging you to do. Whether it's a retreat, writing a book, starting your next chapter, what is it? Chances are there's something calling to you that you haven't taken a look at. So I want to encourage listeners to just dream a little bit and ask yourself what wants to be expressed through me. Don't think about the how, as they say, F the how for now, and just give yourself that space to dream. So that's what I would want people to take away.
I love that. I mean, that was very inspirational to me. And I love I've never heard the phrase, F the how now. I love that. I'm like, that's a
F
quote.
the how for now.
That's a quote for sure.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure other individuals can find you and find your book. So where are you on social, or your website, or your book?
Sure. So you can find, I have 3 things on Amazon. So if you just put in my name, you'll find Painting Your Path Journal, and Radical Freedom. So that's a great place for people to go.
Amazing. I will have that all in the show notes too, and I'll make sure that I have your socials in there because I think you have such a story, and I'm so thankful we connected. And I'm just thankful you showed up real raw in your messy middle and not hiding because I love it.
I'm done with that.
I'm done hiding too. And if you were next to me right now, I'd be giving you an in-person hug. So just a heads up.
Oh, for sure. Same.
Well, thank you so much for being on today, and I look forward to connecting in the future.
That's a wrap on today's episode. If something hit you, share it, screenshot it, send it to a girlfriend who needs to hear it. And if you're carrying something heavy right now and you need someone to stand in prayer with you, send it to hello@cydniejocelyn.com. I mean that. I would be truly honored to pray over you. You are not in the messy middle alone. You are seen, you are building, and you are closer than you think. Now go live it. I'll see you next time.